I'm representing one of the biggest private educational company, which call it Education First. The mission of our company to help people around the world to break down barriers in geographical barriers, cultural barriers, language barriers, and our main business on the Russian markets related to the language education. So we're supporting people to study English language, and I'm particularly responsible for creation and business establishment with our corporate customers and governmental sector. So you can see that Russia economy is growing rapidly, and every single Russian already recognizes that without English language skills you will not be successful in the future. And in many instances the future of kids also related to the better knowledge of the English language, better integration into the global scale in terms of environment and working relation. So particularly for the Russian market, my mission is to make more international environment, to create internationalization of the Russian business community, social community, governmental sector, to establish better communication, better cooperation and collaboration with traditionally Russia is one of the strongest player on the oil and gas sector, energy sector. So we are normally exporting a lot of raw materials to the rest of the world. But within the last couple of years, the government and the business community recognized the importance of reinvesting this money and profits into development of the industrial sector, IT sector, communications, to create additional value for the Russian market, for the global scale. And one of our probably most successful stories, which I see from the educational point of view, it's one of our partner, Skolkovo Business School. One of my good friend, Ruben Vardanyan, created this school a couple of years ago. And now their mission on the Russian market is to create the new generation of entrepreneurs, because Russia is lacking with middle class, with entrepreneurial community, because middle and the small business can make the difference. In many instances we are too much depending on the big Russian private or state corporations. So, and it's always quite risky from economic point of view. We just recently heard the speech of one of our customer, one of our partners, Sberbank. It's the biggest financial organization in Russia, with hundreds of thousands of offices around the country. Russia is a huge country. It's 9 time zones. It's millions of kilometers of territory. And the challenges which this bank met within the last couple of years is tremendous. But the way how they develop their business, ambitions which they have in terms of the growth, not only for the Russian market or CIS market, but globally, is amazing. And I can say that within the last couple of years, we saw a lot of changes based on the Sberbank business, how we can make the great story with development of the Russian corporate culture, with development of the infrastructure, with development of retail offices around the country. So it's completely new bank, and it's one of the best, one of the most efficient. The brand of employer is extremely strong, and the plans which the CEO of the bank, Mr. Gref, is announcing, also amazing. So they have ambitions to be in the top 10 global banks, and taking into consideration the history of this bank within the last couple of years, I can be sure that they will materialize and they will definitely become one of the best bank worldwide. The challenges which Sberbank met, it's quite typical for the Russian business community. We have a lacking of the employees because we have a demographic hole at this moment, and it will continue within the next. The forecast is quite pessimistic that it will continue within the next 10 or 20 years. It's quite centralized employee market. The Moscow and St. Petersburg traditionally is a center of gravities, but banks need development and sourcing of human resources around the whole country. The quality of education dropping down, and it's also another challenge which need to be overcome. And bank is putting a lot of investment to uplift the level of educational centers for their employees. So the global recession also impacting, the financial markets. Russia is not just a country alone, and we are already integrated with the global scale. It's also influencing the bank plans and the overall financial industry. So, but I think the key to success, as advice to, or it's at least it's my observation from the local point of view, on the high level, that's the team, people. If you find the right people in your team, if you create the right team of professionals on the high level, on the top management level, then these people will start creating the team that belongs to them, and for these purposes you can make the big difference. So the corporate culture, technology behind of this, the most innovative solutions which can be implemented from HR point of view, from human resource point of view, can make the big difference. And in many instances, HR function or HR director becoming the critical factor of success for development of the Russian companies or international companies represented on the Russian market. So, yeah, some sort of. We had a recently discussion with a couple of my good friends from HR community. In many instances, we're talking about the change of the corporate culture. And it's quite difficult and long-term process. You cannot switch on the brain of your employees from day 1 to day 2, and they will come back to the working places completely with a different mentality. It's a long process which will require a lot of investments, efforts, and time-consuming. It's not only just time-consuming; it's also the right things needs to be put on time into the right people. Selection of the right people, development of these right people, lead by examples. I think this kind of simple things need to be developed on the company scale. We have a lot of examples. So with change of the corporate culture from the Soviet Union old-fashioned style into the modern global market players, and every single company passes this way on the unique, like a unique journey. Anyway, this event, I think it's a great event where successful stories can be spread around the HR community, and HR directors can pick up some great ideas and try to implement it on the company. But specifically for the Russian market, if we're talking about especially the market leaders of the big Russian corporations, they have quite ambitious plans. And it's quite new challenge for the majority of the Russian giants, this global or regional expansions of the business. For them, the Russian market becoming too small, and they need to grow according to expectation of their management and their shareholders. The Russian companies, in many instances, lacking this cross-cultural experience. They do not know how to operate on the Middle East market or Asia Pacific or Latin America. And you cannot buy this. I mean, you can, of course, you can buy the services from the big international consult companies who can share with you the general stuff. But you need to learn this journey on your own shoulders, with all mistakes or risks taken into your own agenda. So I can say that from one side, the Russian business community have a unique competitive advantage that we can learn from other big countries like Brazil or Russia or China, because the companies from these markets started regional expansion a couple of years ago, and they already have a lot of things which can be learned from our point of view. But from another hand, I think Russians have a great mentality, and the Russia business culture also have a lot of competitive advantage which need to be applied and systemize it on the global scale. And it's not only about oil and gas sector, it's also for IT solutions. We have one of our customer, Mr. Kaspersky. It's a well-known IT security software company. They have a great experience already on the global markets. They are growing rapidly, and this kind of experience of the Russian company which become the global market player also can be interesting for the rest of the business community. So now, if we make the summary, the Russian market have a quite interesting position. I mean, if we're talking about HR community, from one side we have a lot of changes on the local markets, but we are also looking forward to the potential growth and expansion on the global and the regional scale. And to cope with this, it's quite interesting but challenging job. So I'm wondering how every single HR will sleep and will think about.